Your t-shirt says bush lover.
It does. I got this in Namibia.
It says that as well.
Yeah.
In the style, it looks a bit like a Land Rover.
Yeah. There's my sister got me to start doing this, but basically, if I ever go to a foreign destination, I always try and get a novelty airport tee, because it doubles up as a sort of pajama top, and you can often find it's a memorabilia of the place. I don't know if this was catching Western tourists with bush lover.
I think it was.
But then they had the same one called sand lover.
Right. Doesn't
which is
quite.
Not, which is
the
not
joke
a pun.
isn't there. Do you think it's an accidental pun?
That's what I think. Well, I mean, it's literally in
accidental
Namibia.
Double entendre.
I just don't know how much they're playing on these sort of puns.
Well, I think it works because I can just picture your dad wearing it.
Yeah.
Which is the kind of tourist that would go there and then buy that.
No, I think it's because there's a weird type of tourism that's springing up, especially over like Southeast Asia. In Bali, this is quite like a depressing aspect of like tourism ruining parts of Southeast Asia, is that you've got like shops with like tat. But I saw one, because I guess they have a lot of Australian tourists. They had one which was like a plaque that said like, Tom is a big gay fat retard.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Because if you're with that's just all it said. And like, clearly the person selling it
was there like Pete is a big fat gay retard? Was there John is a big fat gay retard?
Two names.
There was only two.
It was even worse than that. It was like a spasticated fat gay retard.
Jesus Christ!
And it was so aggressive.
Yeah.
But
wait, it's on a plaque.
Yeah, it was on like it's like a sign, it was some sort of sign.
Yeah.
And so obviously it's just groups of Australian lads.
Fellas, yeah.
Yeah. And I saw the guy in the shop, and it clearly, it's not something that I think he'd find funny. It's just clearly about profit margin.
It's not his passion project.
No, but
it's not why he opened this store in the first place.
But if I was in Bali with you,
right,
and you were slightly ahead down the street, and I saw Andrew as a big fat gay retard,
you're gonna get it.
I'm getting it.
You're buying it.
I'm buying it.
You're definitely buying it.
Because that's the problem. It is a good bit.
Because it's a plaque as well. If you just suddenly gave that to me in the evening on our holiday evening dinner, I would be like, where the fuck did you get that from? It's because there's an implication. There's an implication that you need to order something like that. That is like personalised. It's the fact that you could just find that on a street corner.
They're not going to have Horatio as a big fat gay retard.
No,
because it's not.
And that's one of the drawbacks of your name, is that you can't have a plaque that says you're a big fat gay retard.
It's going to be James as a big fat gay retard. It's going to be Tom.
Pete, Paul.
Yeah, I wonder if other countries have like Pierre is going to be big fatty gay boy.
So this is in Australia, not Namibia.
This was in Bali. But a lot of Australian tourists come to Bali because it's nearby. So it's sort of like
tailored to their
It's a bit
humour.
like their Ibiza.
Right.
know?
Yeah, okay.
So that's who I assume was going to be the most likely people to buy Tom as a big fat gay retard.
I think
it's going to be a big group of Australians.
I've never seen anything like it myself.
No.
I can't imagine it being down the streets near the Champs-Elysees or anything like that. You never know.
But it's bringing up more and more in Southeast Asia because it's so touristy. You must have seen bits of it in Vietnam. Or was Vietnam still pretty untouched? Did you have the penis bottle openers? Do you not have those? So they're all over Bali.
No, I don't think it is.
There's like just wooden shaved cocks that have a thing.
I think it's a bit less touched like that, Vietnam.
Yeah.
Because we were only in the big cities for the end and the start, and then the rest is quite rural. But it wasn't. It just seemed like it was too busy to have any of that. I didn't see many gift touristy shops at all, really. But it wasn't very commercialised or taken over like that, which is nice. But maybe it should be. Maybe that's where the future is.
Well, yeah, I like. It's just from the rules of business. I think it's just an interesting psychologically trying to sell something. It's just conceptually quite an interesting.
Yeah.
Tom is a big fat gay retard.
Right, let's dive into that.
That is gonna sell. Because it's such an obscene thing to say.
And it's because it's quite specific. Because you can get like Tom, I don't know, what would you get if you just get I Heart Tom? You can get that anywhere.
Yeah.
But you can't get Tom as a big fat gay retard anywhere else other than the streets of Bali.
And he certainly didn't know what it meant.
Or quite an
either.
intricate mail order, online.
Yeah. So it kind of opened my eyes up to a different wing of capitalism that I hadn't really thought about fully.
I think the first and only birthday present you've got me was a T-shirt,
Plain Lazy,
which said "Man flu is real."
Yeah.
When we were what, 13?
That could be the only present I ever got you.
Oh yeah.
A green T-shirt from Plain Lazy, which was a Lewis owned brand company, so I was really proud of it.
Right.
It folded. It wasn't a good company.
Nor was it a good gift.
It wasn't.
Man flu is real.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was like, when are you expecting me to wear this?
It's a good pajama top, I reckon.
Right. Or when you're ill.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's point to it.
God. Yeah. No, I remember not being too happy with the joke on it, but I thought it'll do.
It's something. You should have got Andrews a big fat gay retard and a plaque.
on a T-shirt, that's not a bad gift.
It's not. It's a challenge to wear it outside. It's more laying down the gauntlet for someone asking, are you brave enough?
Lazy Sunday.
Yeah, Lazy Sunday, not many eyes seeing it. Just whip it out.
You know, and I feel like if you're in the house, maybe you're with your girlfriend or whatever, you'd kind of get used to it, and then you'd go and you'd be like, I've been wearing this all day.
Yeah. Oh, don't even notice. Yeah, it would get to the point where you'd stop noticing, as with all clothes.
So before we sat down on the podcast, we got the news through that the production is going to carry on Alec Baldwin's Rust. How are you feeling about that?
I'm feeling very shocked by it.
Yeah.
Because when...
Well, it's January, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's very soon.
Continues in January. You'd think that might just be one to let go.
Just let it.
Maybe not go back to it.
There must be a financial...
There's obviously some
sort of like contractual things where it's like to not let it go.
But in reality, they're thinking, well, I think in any other circumstance, if the money wasn't there, they wouldn't continue it. But they're like, this is going to put bumps on seats. The film's
think so.
I'm going to go see it. 100% going to see it. Because you're going to be working out which was the scene where someone actually got murdered in.
Yeah.
Because there will be the scene. They'll be doing.
I feel they'll reshoot that
Imagine
scene.
if it happened. Yeah, of course they'll reshoot the scene.
Yeah.
Imagine if it happened again.
That's what I was thinking.
Not exactly the same.
Obviously, awful tragedy.
Yes.
Obviously, the fact that it even happened in the first place is awful.
Yes.
But undeniably...
hilarious if it happened again. Come on. Just like, why are you doing this again? Are you sure this is the right move? And then just exactly the same shit unfolds. What costume would Alec Baldwin have to wear on Halloween to mend this fucking disaster?
If Alec Baldwin killed another cinematographer, he did the Gruffalo last time.
He did do the Gruffalo last time.
So he's gone in big.
Yeah.
I think maybe you know where the wild things are.
That's very similar to the Gruffalo, isn't it?
But you could do bigger. Okay, what do you think? What do you think you'd have to wear?
An armadillo.
Well, like the birthday armadillo in French.
Yeah, like the French one, yeah. Even though it's not Halloween.
Press conference.
But I think as everyone else...
You can't be killing too, can you?
I don't know. I just think, as everyone else probably thought, surely that's it.
Yeah.
We're not going to see this film. Because it
looks very 7 out of 10, maybe 6. Oh, do you know? It didn't
maybe
look
less.
dog shit.
I think.
Or maybe I don't know if it's going to be dog shit.
Alec Baldwin starring in it.
I guess he's not.
I don't think that can be more than a 6 at best.
Current Alec.
Yeah, but I am shocked that it's going ahead.
I wish Hilaria got involved as well. That would
the
be
Spanish lady.
Yeah.
Does she act?
I don't know. Well, she pretends to be a Spanish woman for every single day.
That is fucking brilliant.
The fact that this came so soon after.
God bless her, man.
I know. They breathe rarefied air. You know. Yeah. I do have a soft spot for Alec Baldwin. I always have. There's something there.
I don't know what it is, but yeah. Well, he's a very funny actor.
Yeah.
When he's doing comedy.
Well,
in 30 Rock, he was great.
As we said, he sort of looks like a Hollywood actor. He's like Brad Pitt, who's been inflated
or stretched out.
But stretched out.
Feasibly put in the microwave a bit too long.
No, because he's puffy.
Ovened. Like when the cheese
baked.
Bubbles. He's baked. He's baked, yeah.
He's baked.
He's a baked pit.
But then, you know the outside car dealerships, you know the air things, he's gone fat all over. I tell you what's comforting about Alec Baldwin.
Right, I have no idea where this is going now.
What's comforting about Alec Baldwin is that he gains weight satisfyingly, which is all over at exactly the same time.
Right,
so every bit of fat is spread.
So he's much like a ball or a circular object.
It's just it's
just
like filling up with like gas, filling up a balloon. It's just all at once.
Yeah, because if you filled an empty like human, it would kind of distribute to different places, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas if you filled a spherical object, it just goes all out at the same
Yeah.
time. So
I guess he is like a ball.
So he's like a baked
Alec
ball.
Baldwin. Alec
Baked Baldwin. Alec Baked Baldwin. Okay. Yeah, we're getting
There's something there.
There's something there.
Because some people, they obviously get fat in their arse first.
Sure.
Just thunder thighs.
How's your weight going?
It's hard to know because it's like I'm farther down the tunnel now. So I look back and I can't see the light anymore in the same way.
Or your penis.
So it's like I forget what I'm comparing it to.
You forget what your penis looks like.
I forgot. I'm so fat.
Yeah.
I forgot what my penis is.
Right.
I think I've rode it out slightly better.
Yeah, but you can't ride horses anymore.
It's flatlined.
You can't ride horses anymore because you're too fat.
I'm too big.
Yeah. Keep going.
Yeah, I think I think my weight is flatlined.
Your heart will flatline because you're so overweight.
Yeah, that's good. I'm worried about it growing in my neck and my arse. But I'm happy for my arse. So we'll see. We'll check back in a 6 months' time.
Yeah.
How about you? Have you started yet?
Maybe.
Is it beginning?
Maybe.
Maybe.
You know, it's almost like nothing's happening. Nothing's happening, but I can feel it in the air. I can feel like...
you feel like something's...
I can feel like... Oh, yeah, I can almost feel...
Is it the calm before the storm?
Yeah.
And the storm is you.
The storm is
becoming morbidly
obese. No, I can feel it. There's something in the air. I'm like, oh, something's changing. I think I can feel my metabolism slowing rather than the consequences of the metabolism slowing manifesting.
Come. And then we can...
Well, I asked Mum, because this is... I have periods where I have I have periods now. Yeah. Is that normal, Mum? Is it normal for me to bleed? I have periods of being concerned about a certain thing. Bodily wise.
Okay. Not social issues.
No, not social issues. No. Sometimes I just don't want to leave the house. It's traditionally, it's the same with you as well. It's the bald thing. Mm-hmm. And I'm a lot more confident about that because I don't
aggressively.
And there's a pattern emerging here, which isn't male pattern baldness. But
that's good.
There's a pattern emerging here that I get worried about something. And because I don't really talk to my dad, I have to ask my mum about his health history.
Yes.
Because she was like, but then that was more about her side because it's more about the female side.
Is that true? It does seem...
No, but it's not.
Is it like Judaism? It passes down the mother's line. It just feels a bit...
Exactly, because my uncle and my grandpa on my mum's side are the baldest men on the planet.
You can't get balder than that.
Yeah. Literally, it's like things skim off them. It's like... They never get wet because the water just diverts to either side of their head. But they went bald at like 22 or something, or at least started to recede pretty early on in their life. Yeah, whereas I'm fine.
Yeah.
And that's all looking good. So I asked my mum, when did Dad get a beer belly? You know, because Dad isn't fat.
No,
but he's
got a bit of the Baldwin going on.
He's got a bit.
No, I guess maybe
he's been put in a microwave too long. We know that. Yeah. But he's slimmed down a bit. But he had a period where he was proper dad bod.
Yes.
Probably towards the end of his marriage. But so she said no, he didn't start that until we was like, you know, getting on 40, because I was expecting the metabolism to stop, and then I'm just going to be, you know, having to be scraped off the stairs pretty soon. Rolled down the street. But,
scraped off?
Yes.
It's like one of those metal things.
Yeah.
What, like gum?
I'm fallen and I'm
splattered.
I'm fallen and I'm so fat that it's gone into all the crevices.
And it's taken one of those things you get paint off.
Some angry shop workers. I mean, fucking hell.
Like when kids spit gum.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I don't think it's... the panic has eased a bit that it's not just gonna, you know, suddenly I'm gonna be fat.
The one of the benefits about weight is it's not, you don't wake up the next day and you're suddenly fat. It is almost by definition, you fade into it. Do you know what I mean?
Precisely.
That's sort of the problem, which kind of moves away from having excuses about weight.
It's not like it's a surprise. The only difficulty is working out, oh no, I'm fat now. That's when the issue
is coming to terms with it.
Exactly. But you're right, you don't wake up overnight with it. But yeah, so I'm keeping an eye on it, but I can feel something in the air. I can feel bodily change. Just 25, brains stop growing. Our brains have stopped growing now.
Really?
Yeah, it stops growing at 25.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the best we're going to get.
Okay, yeah, because in brain age and Sudoku, that's like the youngest, the better. So that's as smart as we're going to get.
Have you ever done an IQ test?
No, have you?
No.
I reckon you have a good on IQ.
I don't know. I just don't know. I think a lot.
I don't know how I do on IQ.
No, I think you wouldn't understand the questions. What's a triangle? I think you'd flip out with the questions and not really get what you had to do.
Yeah, to be honest, with an IQ test, I think there's anything is possible.
Yeah,
it really could be bad or good.
Yeah.
In that sort of measurement, it's like who fucking knows.
I'm sure
because something's wrong, but that often means you have really high IQ or really low IQ.
Or it's like, actually, no, yeah. No, what's wrong is really wrong. You've got some issues. I think mine would be disappointing.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. I just can imagine it being like, oh,
I expected more.
I expected a bit better. And everyone would be like, oh, okay.
Are we coming to the conclusion that maybe we're both big, fat, gay retards?
Sadly, I think, yeah. That's an appropriate
That was
plaque.
If you skip forward past the beginning, that was a callback to an early bit of the show. I don't want people thinking
because that's not our words. That's the words of a Balinese plaque.
Admittedly, it's weird that I chose to clip it up.
Yeah, and then this is on Instagram.
Weird move, you know?
Yeah.
Without arguably, fine in the pod, you didn't have to clip it.
Seemed unnecessary. We're shock jockeys.
We are shock jockeys. When I hear shock jockeys, I think of like a nasty little horse jockey.
I think of a jockey being electric shocked. Shook? Electric shook? Sounds like a song.
No, that works. Completely works.
I have a quick question that I thought of earlier. Maybe it's more of a confession. Unless everyone felt this. Now, I'm not going to take you as a barometer for everyone because often your finger is so far off the pulse. You haven't got a fucking clue what's going on. However, Bush Lover...
I'm holding on to the ankle.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's how you feel, is it? Bush Lover looks like Land Rover, right?
Yeah.
Land Rover, name of the car. When I was growing up, everyone, because no one pronounces it Land Rover, they do Land Rover. Land Rover.
Oh.
So I had no idea that it meant like a vehicle that roams or roves the land. Can you rove a land?
You can rove.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Blackburn Rovers.
They rove. True. Yeah. Case closed. I didn't see it as a vehicle that roved land. I thought it was a LAN, LAN, like drover.
Like a drover. It drove because it
Did
drives.
Everyone else think this?
I don't remember explicitly, but it's not mental.
And your fingers off the pulse as well. So.
Yeah, exactly. So not that it matters, but
because it was one of those.
To me. How long though?
Well,
How
you know these things.
you...
It's always way too long with me.
Yeah,
it's always way too long. I think it was when I remember the realization. Yeah. I think I was to put an estimate on it. I'm going to say 15.
15's late.
It's late, isn't it?
I used to think that you feated on a song.
Great, that's a good one. So how would that work?
So I thought it was just an industry term for for appearing on a song.
Right, you foot it.
Feet. So FEAT, because it always says feet. Kanye West.
So you didn't think it was like a foot, or did you think it was?
No,
a
it was spelled FEAT. I wasn't that.
How do you spell fate? Like a village fate?
FETE.
Right, okay, so you didn't think it was that?
I didn't think it was that, because that wasn't my problem. I actually thought it was its own word.
Right.
I thought you feet on a track.
Right.
So, you know.
That's a good one.
Kanye West feet Mr. Hudson.
Yeah. Okay, for
and I said to my dad, yeah, I think he feats on this track.
Yeah.
And my dad laughed in my face.
Well, if you go feet on this track, it could either be that you just, like you, didn't understand that it wasn't a word, which is
10 though,
very rare. Or it could be, or it could be you trying to be cool. Like, you're trying to be in the biz. Because you haven't got time. A
little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Yeah, you haven't got time to say featured.
I see. That's not what happened.
No, you would just
I thought it was
misunderstood.
I just fully didn't know what featuring meant.
Up until the age of 23.
Here we go.
I had no idea what the word...
This is Diary of a CEO.
Up until the age of 23, I had no idea what the word bespoke meant. And I kept seeing it everywhere in shops and on telly adverts. I was like, what the fuck does that mean? And I remember I was always by myself when it would come up, because you don't see bespoke with friends. It's just like when you're passing shops or you hear it on adverts, bespoke furniture. Bespoke.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is bespoke? Never knew what it was.
Yeah.
But I didn't care enough to look it up.
Sure.
So that's
an interesting one when you're stuck. You're annoyed, but
it keeps annoying me. But I was like, I'm still not going to look it up. And I remember just I was with Martha one day, and it came up. I went, what the fuck does it mean? She explained it to me.
What does it mean?
Like made to order. Did you not? Did you?
No,
know?
I did know that.
But I think it's also one of those words that people think they know.
Yeah, I think I kind of slightly linked it a bit with boutique.
But this is not the same.
It isn't the same.
What is boutique?
You can have a boutique hotel,
which is
to
like
me means an independent, quite nice hotel.
Yeah. Well,
Not like,
independent, but not like luxury. A chain. It's
not
quite.
Luxury.
It's independent. Yeah, not a chain.
Yeah.
Almost a bit quirky.
Yes. So it's like a city hotel.
But bespoke is not that.
It might even be 3 stars, but that's because the rules of the stars are slightly arbitrary when it comes to hotels. It's much nicer than a 3-star, but it doesn't have, an ensuite or something.
Yeah. Okay, well that's not really what bespoke is.
No. I was going to say Mudlark Boys. Do you know what Mudlark is?
Is that a TV show?
No, mudlarking is our friend Milo and Cowley used to mudlark at the height of COVID.
Right.
With their one daily activity, which is a kind of quite a Victorian habit, which is when...
On the River Thames?
Yeah, on the River Thames, where
you go and dig for treasure.
Yeah, and the rules of mudlarking is you can't actually dig because you're not allowed to do that, but it's on the surface of the Thames.
You're not right, and you just look for historical artifacts.
Yeah. So, and then Milo showed me his collection, and he was like, "Look at this," and he'd found like 80 pieces of little bits of china and stuff, and I was like, "Yeah," but none of them are a whole piece.
Right, but
there's a big scale of things.
You're not selling for parts.
Not with shattered china.
To know, could you not? Is that not valuable in any way?
No. Not to me.
So visit their website. They've got loads of bookmarks.
So we're not here to talk about mudlarking, no. We're here to talk about bookmarking.
Bookmarks.
Bookmark. Right, I feel I've carried the beginning of this ad.
Yes, you have, because mudlarking was very relevant. I think. Are these new?
No.
Okay, I'm actually using them.
Because you're reading.
Yeah, and they are actually quite good. I know this. It's been a year and a half since they've been our sponsor, and it's the first time we've genuinely shown any kind of actually they're quite good, although they are good as in seeing them, but as actual use as a product, because it is funny because I'm reading a book and Richard Madeley's head is sticking up out of it. That's funny.
It's good.
It's good. It's a good product.
Yeah.
Well, now I've done that bit. Now you have to do something.
I thought you were finishing it off.
We are really losing momentum on this. We need to come up with some more fucking Bookmark Boys stuff.
I feel we might be pushing nearly 100 bookmark ads,
and we've only now just got fatigued. Genuinely, we've done like 90 banging.
I feel mudlarking. Bringing up mudlarking was the beginning of the end.
It died last week, actually.
Do you hate? Was it not a good one last week?
No, there was something where I was just like, what? There's nothing left to say. Because we've done every variation of the word. We've gone into every skit possible. And now this, what can we do? Because we've got a lot of kind of ideas on here, just things to inspire.
But I don't think we should work this out here.
Shag, marry, avoid, Bookmark Boys.
Go on.
Sandra Oh.
Yeah.
Cam from Modern Family.
Yeah.
And Rob Beckett.
I'm marrying Rob for the company.
For the company.
I'm
yeah.
shagging Sandra.
Yeah.
Because
you're going to avoid Cam.
I'm going to avoid. I don't
it's
like.
A bit homophobic, isn't it? What? Good for you, Horatio. Really well done. That went downhill, didn't it?
So I don't know how much you guys have heard about this, because I certainly on the American podcast that me and Andrew both listen to, it's done the rounds.
It's everywhere. I've seen every single podcast.
I don't know how much our listeners will have heard about this. Do you guys know about? It seems quite an American thing. Weirdly,
what is
this as a controversial issue?
What? This story?
What we're about to talk about.
Right, yeah. Well, it's only got prominence in America, really.
Yeah. So, do you know what? Can you explain what happened?
Yeah, there's a transgender DT teacher, or they'd call it woodshop teacher.
Yeah, and when I remember hearing about this, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, no.
It was like on Fox News, and I was like, here we go again. Trans hate. Here's going to be some fucking hateful thing. And then, yeah, carry on.
Whereas this is somewhat worth a discussion. She's like a D&T teacher, so a shop teacher, wood shop, which we'll refer to as from now on, who has a trans woman.
Yeah.
And she basically teaches like 7-year-old kids.
Yeah.
With heavy machinery, a lot of dangerous
I'll get in the photo.
Yeah, get it up for a lot of dangerous machinery. You know what DT's like. And she decided to get a breast augmentation. I'm not sure if they were her first, like if it was her first top surgery or if it was just. But these are the size of them. Up there now. It's just.
Now, it's a sensitive.
Yes, it's a sensitive topic.
So here's her in class.
That is just hilarious. I mean, that's crazy, isn't it? That's just... It's really funny. And this is just... It's funny because it is.
It is.
It's funny because it is. Is that the fact that she's a DT teacher and is operating these... And it's like she's got to stand really far back and her tits still might get...
So the problem is that this probably is going to be co-opted into an anti-trans debate.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think this is at all about trans.
This is about mental illness.
This is about if you're choosing the size of your tits,
right,
make them smaller.
Well, now I think
surely they have to be smaller.
There's two prongs to why this has become.
There's two giant tits, Andrew.
That is correct. No one.
Look at her.
The left tit. On the left tit, you have the issue that she's operating heavy machinery, and I mean, that's kind of her prerogative. Are you still looking at them?
I mean, she's operating heavy machinery every day.
Yeah, but that's one prong or one tit as we're going for. If she's operating heavy machinery, surely there's a safety issue involved. But then I guess it's her prerogative to be safe or not. The other is how big? Right, and this is the question that we're debating now.
Yeah.
How big can fake tits be while still being legitimate to be in front of young children all day?
Yeah, I guess because the thing is, if these were her real tits,
but no, but I think that's important because no one has real tits that big. Is that fair?
Yeah, but maybe like a documentary type person, like someone Channel 5 would make a documentary about them.
Yeah,
Britain's biggest tits.
Well, can we look up biggest tits and it needs to be. Let's look up the biggest real tits in the world, and it can't be from a morbidly obese person.
No, because that's the problem. If she was morbidly obese, it would take a lot of the sting off the tits.
Right. Yeah.
Take some of the heat
because
out
the tits are so unproportional to her body.
And the tits would have a sort of something to rest on, so they wouldn't hang.
Well, they wouldn't steal the show.
You'd have so much more to look at.
Right. Well, Annie Hawkins Turner has come up as a Google answer when I typed in biggest natural breasts.
Can we take a look?
You're very much on the pictures for these, aren't you?
Yeah. This one is all about pictures.
Breasts, interesting things. What? No.
I'll be putting pictures up for this episode for sure.
Women with world's... Jesus. 102 ZZZ cup. That seems...
Well, they're checking the rule, but how big are these tits?
I take back everything I said previously. You know what? That's changed my mind about this fucking... I take back everything I've said.
She should be allowed to...
She's allowed
Let me see the tits.
She's allowed them. That is astonishing. Right, and that is Annie Hawkins Turner.
Is he?
Better known by the pseudonym Norma Stitz, a play on the phrase enormous tits, is celebrating 25 years since she turned her giant boobs into a success business. She holds the world record for the largest natural boobs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Stunned silence in the studio. Now the fact that
this woman
be allowed to operate
heavy machinery / teach woodshop to children, because it starts opening up.
Immediately I go.
We'll have to go back to the other debate, but let's start at its root.
Can I just quickly on the other debate?
Are there big enough natural tits?
Now on the other debate, the existence of those has changed my opinion completely. I haven't looked in. I like to see who came second and third. I want to see if there's a big difference between
if
that.
She's a complete
if she's an outlier, then that's something else.
In the scatter graph, she's up here,
But if there's women with naturally that massive tits, then as a trans woman, surely she should probably be allowed to emulate that.
That's an interesting question.
And I think
So
it's the only thing is chill. Let's pull it back.
So what's her name again? Sally Ann. What was it?
Turner something.
So, okay.
Let's get her name up here. Come. It's triple-barreled. It is Annie Hawkins Turner.
So if Annie Hawkins Turner came to your school,
right? Me as a parent, right? Let's do me as a parent.
You're a principal.
Okay, I'm in charge. Jesus, right? I'm not sure I'm ready for this.
And you get told her paperwork's great.
Great CV.
She's the best DT.
A wizard with a soldering iron.
And then she walks in,
right?
And she's got the Guinness World Record.
She's Annie Tits Turner. Sure. First of all, I'd see her coming. Congratulations on the Guinness World Record.
Shake one of her tits.
Right. Now,
are you letting that woman teach kids?
I think you have to. Yes, you have to.
Because you can't just say no freaks allowed.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Now,
if someone had, I don't know, a disfigured face, you couldn't turn them away.
And this might sound controversial.
Oh my God.
But, and it goes into what you're saying.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. The thing about, because look, there are teachers out there with big knockers.
Sure.
We've had a few.
Mrs. Crickmore.
Whoa. Easy, Horatio. Names. And I guess it's weird in a way. It's a weird discussion because why would it be right? Like normal size tits. Follow my train of thought here. So
I'm there.
Like not Guinness World Book of Record size tits, but just big. We're talking Fs or something.
Okay, big. These are big.
Yeah, but big. But they're like they're everywhere.
Yeah,
they're everywhere.
You could still get a bank loan.
Yeah, naturally. I'd hope that these women can get a loan.
I don't know. I'm not giving that one a loan.
Stop saying that one.
No, that
follow
woman,
my logic. So, right, not crazy, but big, right?
Yeah.
They're allowed to teach.
Yeah.
So what would be the problem would be if they're too out there, if it's too suggestible. You can't wear anything
That's
sexually.
Not suggestible.
Yeah, hold on. You can't wear anything sexually provocative. So if you have big tits, you've got to cover them up. You've got to cover up your tits full stop, really, at a school.
Yeah.
I learned that the hard way. But you've got to cover them up and be reasonable. But so there's the sexuality aspect of it, isn't it? So big tits, sexual, you don't want to expose kids to that kind of imagery, therefore don't do it.
Sorry to say, part of the story is children are missing class because they find the tits too distracting.
Right.
So that's been like part of it.
Why would they miss?
Part of it is they haven't been able to, because they feel basically uncomfortable.
Right, uncomfortable,
but it's been sold as distracting for some reason.
For some reason?
Yeah.
Of course it's distracting. Are you kidding me? Of course it's distracting. That's a different issue. Like, naturally it's distracting.
In the way I don't see colour, I don't see tits.
Right, yeah. Even though you've been gawping at them every fucking picture you got up. You've taken like a minute break to have a look at them. But I'd argue, it's the sexual nature of it. Right, because that's what the uncomfortable thing works here. Because, they're huge. with the big non-Guinness Book of World Records knockers. There's the sexual aspects that would be inappropriate for children to see. Fine, you cover them up. But as we get into the Turners and this woman, the Guinness World Book of Record holders, it ceases to become. When tits get that big, it's not really sexual.
It's not sexual.
It's just it's inconceivable.
It's like maybe if an alien had like an hour on Earth is what you'd take away. They like big tits,
and then they'd send the perfect woman,
and the perfect woman would have tits dragging on the ground. It's like you've missed it.
There's
more.
There's a subtlety to it.
It's not just.
It's not pure size, right?
It's not size.
And there is too much size. There is.
You can have too much of a good thing.
So they're not sexual.
Yeah.
So she comes into your office. We're both the headmasters here.
We're joint headmasters.
Yeah, we're sitting on the same chair.
We're quite young to be.
We are. It's questionable whether we should have it. So I don't know why we're calling the shots. In reality, she could have equally charged us. Say, how are you qualified to say no to me? And we'll say we're not. Anyway, that's besides the point. Our backgrounds, regardless. She comes in. Now we're going to go for. Would it change it if she was an English teacher?
Wait. So are you throwing the hypothetical out the window?
No, we'll come back to it.
Okay.
Because I'm just trying to get because it's an interesting debate. What is acceptable?
DT certainly is slightly, it's more
unacceptable.
unacceptable.
We'll get to DT, but
I'm saying,
But
it would be more acceptable if she was an English teacher.
Now, I don't think DT is less unacceptable or more unacceptable.
Because she's
it's her risk. It's her risk.
Yeah, but it's also the children will be traumatized if one of those fuckers gets caught.
That's... They would, but it's a tough argument.
It's a health and safety risk that I think is...
And to be fair, she gets caught in a machine.
Also,
pieces of the machine could go flying.
A huge part of health, D&T, which was one of the most pointless lessons ever, one of those depressing lessons,
is safety.
So I feel I wouldn't listen to her explain to me health and safety because she clearly has no...
Well, you'll be too busy gawping at
I would, but I mean, like, what? Are you carrying airbags around because you care that much? Yeah, I don't know if I'd like...
So there's two things. There's many strands to this argument. It's actually really interesting.
Yeah.
Because first, you can't...
It's not sexual.
It's not sexual.
No.
So therefore, we're fine to show kids these tits. Not nude, but we're fine to show them. They're fine to be around a woman with that large tits, yeah? That's all good.
If they're natural.
Oh, no, you can't say that, though.
You can.
But why does it change?
Do you know why it changes? Here's my view.
Yeah.
I feel...
You are a bush lover, though.
I'm not
sure we can trust anything you say.
And maybe some of our trans listeners can maybe educate me on this. I feel because she had a choice in the size of her tits, seeing as they're not natural...
Right.
I feel like get smaller tits.
What happens if that's what she really wanted?
Then that's not...
Clearly she did really want it. No one gets tits that size if they don't really want them.
Do you know what? If you want them that bad, you can't work. Find a different job.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's but
what happens if her body dysmorphia,
yeah,
in terms of from the biological sex she was born, was that she wasn't only a woman, she's also a woman with huge knockers. And you're going to deny her that.
But this is the age we live in where it's like your truth is valued above all things.
You know what? I'm saying the bigger the better, actually. I've just realised. The bigger the better.
What, as a teacher?
Do it all. Get it all in.
You could have a whole creche feeding off one of them.
Yeah, I want the fuckers in a wheelbarrow. But no, continue your point.
I mean, it'd be good if in America there's a lot of school shootings and then all the kids could hide under those boys.
Because he'd empty a mag into the tits and it would be like a cushion, yeah. She'd dive out and save the children.
I see a film.
Yeah.
But, a woman whose dysmorphia is not only gender but also size of tits fights against an establishment and a country that laughs at her until a school shooting happens and she saves it. She dies in the process and everyone then feels...
No, she survives but her tits don't. Her tits deflate.
What?
Yeah, and then all the naysayers pay for her to get another... And then they all sing at the end.
That's quite nice. I still like the idea of her dying and them erecting a copper statue of her in the...
Well, I think she can survive and still get the statue.
Okay, fine.
But hold on, but I just... For that point...
We're meandering. We've been on this for a while.
No, but it's good. It's good. So I think... I disagree with your point because I think she's allowed to have them. Of course she is.
Legally, yeah.
Yeah, but also... I don't and to track your logic.
I wouldn't have
you're
police
the headmaster.
Tackle her to the ground.
Well, no. But for I agree. I disagree with it slightly ideologically, but also practically. Thank you. We're in the room together, right? We're sitting on the same big chair, and on your logic, this woman comes in, overqualified, really good personality. We've talked to her on the phone. She sounds great. She comes in, and by your merit, you have to ask and then check if they're real or not.
I can tell immediately.
There's a problem. That hand gesture right there is a problem.
Well,
you can tell immediately. But we're not going to last long in this job.
I'll be like a jeweler, when you hand in a watch and they chew it and they get the little thing to check if it's real gold. That's me with every teacher's tits.
And I'm there.
I have one of those little glass, those little things.
Yeah. Like in Uncut Gems.
But this film's called Giant Tits.
Right, yeah. And Uncut Gems, Giant Tits. We're just headmasters trying to hire a D&T DT teacher.
It is a fascinating debate.
But do you not So obviously,
but she feels like a character. Do you know what I mean? I feel I'd want to know what her personality is like, because I don't know how well she wears these tits. Because I feel there's a way that maybe it would take a lot to sway me, because I do think it's inappropriate to have tits that big. Genuinely.
Yeah. But I'm trying to work it out.
I do think there is a personality behind those tits that could somehow make it work.
How?
A bit silly.
Well, yeah, it depends how seriously she's wearing it.
I wouldn't want her. I don't know if I'd feel comfortable if she was a real drab personality.
She kind of looks it.
Do you know? Well, maybe
take away the tits.
Because it's hard. I can't.
The face. She's a D&T teacher.
Yeah, I guess so.
DT. Is it DT?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Design technology.
A shop teacher.
I feel like if she is constantly telling students off, if she's just a misery guts, if she's like stick a video on because she can't be asked to teach, then you can't have tits that
constantly
big.
Shouting at kids for talking.
But if she's really into teaching, she's kind of alive, then the tits suddenly become a quirk to an already quirky person. I'm not getting bollocked by a teacher with tits that are so low down they're past her waistband.
Sure, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, I agree. I completely agree. But it's hard to police that. And as headmasters, we need to be a bit impartial. And I agree. It's like, but you're more talking about how she wears them, and she might be able to wear them well, and that's more about if they get on like well as a personality.
What's interesting is that
should it be allowed? I
think she was clearly hired before she got the tits.
Definitely, 100%. It was a massive surprise to everyone. That's a fact, because I don't think anyone would hire her. Now, because whether that's right or wrong, I don't think any school would hire her if she walked in with those tits. Because these headmasters and other teachers, whatever, have to like explain to the parents of the kids who the new DT teacher is. Like, imagine parents' evening. It would just be like, what in the world is going on? And they, parents traditionally take their child's education very seriously. Yeah. And I'm not sure how...
Well, it's just an interesting thing of like, I do think we live in the last kind of 20 years have been trying to destroy the idea of normal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I do think sometimes we throw the baby out of the bathwater with the idea that even a concept of normal is, and it's quite a conservative idea, but even the concept of having a sort of agreed normal is in itself inherently oppressive. And the offset is the idea that we can't all go, those tits are clearly too big.
Right.
You can't be having those tits.
Now,
it's weird.
Yeah.
And it's like, what, you calling my truth weird?
Yeah. It's almost like...
Yeah, I am.
It's a classic definition of inappropriacy. Of like, I can't define it, but I know it when I see it.
And also, what's going on? If she's trans, she's going... It feels like she's in middle America. Yeah. She's overcome a lot. And I feel she wouldn't want... It feels strange to have the choice to have tits that big.
Right.
To bring so much attention.
She clearly wants it.
That's what I mean. I know it's like, it feels like what you're saying, she's doing it for attention. Yeah. Clearly. Because you wouldn't... Like, a great trans YouTuber called Natalie Wynn, who... ContraPoints, explained it quite well to me, that basically the reason why trans women are so femme or trans men are so masculine is because the idea of being misgendered, even accidentally, would ruin their day.
Absolutely, yeah. That makes sense.
So that kind of changed the way I viewed it a bit, and it was like, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
So with this, when you've got tits that are dragging on the floor,
sure,
what's going on?
This is a different nature.
Do you know what I mean? There's something, that's what I mean. It feels like it could get caught up in the identity trans debate, and this is actually...
Yeah, no, it's an individual thing, and I think that's what we were...
attention-seeking, inappropriate
But that's kind of what we... Are you getting the picture up again? Good Lord. But that's what we were kind of touching on earlier.
We touched on it.
We touched on it. We did touch on it. And it's like...
Sounds like Newsnight.
Well, because when it's... because when it's the size... As tits grow, the sexuality of them decreases. After a certain point.
Yeah.
After a certain point. And that in itself, I guess, I don't know that much about it, but you'd think a trans woman would, you want quite voluptuous titties in order to...
Sure.
In order to do the thing that we're talking about. Feminine, don't get misgendered.
Signifiers.
Yeah, signifiers. And it's like...
Sure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But then as we go on to when the tits are dragging on the floor,
What's going on?
Then there's something else.
Then the question, what's going on?
And I think, and to be fair, Tim Dillon made this point, and I'll echo it. Is like that woman clearly wants the attention.
Yeah. The nipples are also
you
pointy.
don't get that tits. You work in a school.
Yeah.
You work in a school. You're around children. You know it's going to be a controversial point. Of course, she wants the attention in that way.
Did you have to get nipples that were so erect and pointy?
They're a foot long.
Have you seen the nipples?
No, I didn't. Maybe it's, oh my God.
Look at the areolas on those. Like when I was in the tit shop, I'd be like, can we take a bit off the...
But she's in quite good shape other than that.
That's what makes it more upsetting.
Who took that picture? Was it Paps? It was probably Paps. Oh, they are just...
Because I feel you keep trying to convince yourself otherwise, and then you just have to look at the tits. Who defines...
Wait, is that her
because it's like...
Oh, damn. It's
I think there's something just in these sort of questions, which is basically, we've asked in identity politics, who defines what is normal? Fair enough.
But it shouldn't be. This isn't a question about what's normal. This is a question about what's appropriate.
Yeah. Who defines what's appropriate? Who draws who's the great arbiter of what's appropriate? I don't know. Well, but that's not appropriate.
I don't know. I need to really look at this to get it. Because technically, because I'm trying to get to the number of it. What? It's inappropriate. Because it's silly. It's silly.
Yeah.
But does that make it inappropriate? Are vast, like very big signifiers of female sexuality in themselves inappropriate in front of children?
No.
I think what's inappropriate here are the nipples a lot, because those are
why are we getting specific with it?
Because we go back to what happens.
It's inappropriate because the tits are the biggest tits I've ever seen in my life.
You remember Turner.
And she's chosen them.
But choice is not fair, because there are women out there with real bigger tits, so that argument isn't fair.
It is fair.
So would you...
That woman is setting records.
What is the cut-off for tit size in a school?
What if you've chosen them?
No, but I think that's a dodgy argument if you've chosen them or not.
So,
because if the consequence on the pupils is redundant, is exactly the same, depending on whether the woman has chosen or not chosen them. The consequences are the same. Therefore, they should have to be governed the same.
Trans man.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going for dick, aren't we?
Has a cock so big that he tucks it into his sock.
Right, and I would look up what's the longest cock in the world. I think... Well,
get to it.
Really oddly, I was watching a podcast today where they looked up the man with the world's largest penis.
How big?
Down to there.
So,
right,
DT teacher.
Yeah.
The penis was not there at birth.
Yeah.
He comes in with his penis down to here.
Sure.
He's wearing zip-offs.
Well, there it is, Horatio. There it is. Now, that is the problem with your argument.
Yeah.
Because, fine, God bless him, as long as he's wearing baggy trousers. Simple. Tits can't mitigate them like that. You can't hide those puppies. That's why it's different. Like there is, and it's not this gendered issue. It's like you can hide a dick, you can't hide a tits.
All right, here we go. A new question.
Here we go.
Okay. Balls.
Sure.
Okay.
Right.
The biggest balls in the world. Have you seen them?
No.
They're swollen and huge to the point where...
Is that due to a disease?
Yeah. Probably.
I don't know. There's something in that.
And the person has to wear an upside down hoodie. So that's how he gets... He ties a hoodie to move around. And it's just upside... So it's just like puts it underneath.
You've got to cut those puppies off, surely.
Yeah.
Who's keeping them on?
I don't know. That's a good question. So if you then weren't naturally born with balls, and the balls you went for were giant and swollen to the point where you're carrying them around in a hoodie, now is that not inappropriate?
Well, then right, it is.
But maybe they're swollen.
It is, but I just don't. I think that's to do with a disease, and there's something really. And that guy probably is an anomaly.
These tits are to do with a disease.
What disease?
A mental health disorder. She's clearly not well.
I agree with that.
So she probably shouldn't be teaching kids.
I agree she isn't well. Because that is just silly.
But then if she was like, I don't know.
I'd love to get her on the pod.
I'd
really love to get her on the pod. Fuck me, because I'm interested in it.
We'd have to go wide angle lens. There'd be no way to fucking.
Yeah, it's true. Sit in the middle of us.
Because
I want to hear. Has she spoken out about it? Because I want to hear her reasoning behind it.
I do too.
Other than just because they're just so big. They're just so big.
All right.
I don't feel we've got a conclusive point on that.
We haven't. We're going to end the episode today. We're going to start doing longer episodes on Patreon now. So there might even be shorter episodes here. So if you want to join the Privy Council, get in now. I think we might have 3 left of the bottom tier of Patreon. And by the time this comes out, they're going to be gone because they've been snapped up. We've done a limited amount of the cheapest tier. From now on, it's going to be £4.17. You know that? The classic number. The £4.
We've done our market research.
We know.
That is the exact price
The
point.
perfect. We've £4.17.
And we won't take a penny less.
Or more.
But that'll be the lowest tier. We're doing 45-minute episodes on there every week. And they're going to be like new episodes. They're not like a continuation of this episode.
Sure.
They're going to be brand new stuff. And we might even leave some of the better stuff into the Patreon for now.
Yes, I think so. This week we will. Thanks very much for listening. See you on the Patreon. See you next week.